We'll now go to the Republican side. Gentleman from Michigan seeks recognition.
Chairman,
for what purpose?
I have an amendment at the desk, and it seems like it was put there 2 days ago, but it was sometime this morning. Relevant to this title, relating to unemployment numbers. 10%. I don't know.
Will the clerk inform us whether this amendment has been presented in a timely fashion?
It has, Mr. Chairman.
Will you please report the amendment?
Amendment to H.R. 2454 offered by Mr. Upton. After Section 2, insert the following.
Be considered as
Without
read.
Objection, the amendment is considered as read. And the gentleman
And I'm going to ask another unanimous consent agreement, so if you listen to this carefully, the amendment says 10%, that the bill will be, like we've done before, that the average unemployment rate for the prior year, if it reaches 10%, it shall cease to be effective. And I'm going to ask unanimous consent that that number 10%, where is it?
But you want to change it to add those words.
I'm going to try to say this is not the right amendment, the one that they did. I'm sorry. The amendment that they passed out is not.
You want to do that one? It says Upton at the top.
Yeah, this isn't the right one.
You'd rather like this one better?
No, I like mine that I was going to introduce.
Why don't we report whichever one they'll accept?
You want to accept this one? No, it says Upton on the top.
Has our clerk identified the amendment that Mr. Upton really wanted to offer?
It has an off-ramp at 10% nationally. That's not this one.
Is it at the desk?
It's been there since this morning.
Are you talking about the Midwest? Or are you talking about the
National unemployment rate at 10%.
Oh.
It has Upton on it. And it's at the desk. It's been at the desk for 2 hours.
Could we have our clerk take the amendment from you briefly just to compare? Because we have like.
You have it? Maybe for the moment, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to another member to ask for amendment. I'll come back in the queue just to save some time.
Okay. Mr. Space, are you ready with your amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You wish to be recognized on it. I presume it's an amendment. May I presume it's an amendment that fits to this title?
You may.
And is it one that's been at the desk for more than 2 hours?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Who would we recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, before you speak, let's get the amendment reported, see if we can do that and have it distributed.
No.
This one also says Upton at the top.
Mitch.
Which one is this? Okay. We're having the amendment distributed. Would the clerk report the amendment?
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of substitute offered by Mr. Space.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read, and the gentleman from Ohio will be recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment is designed to expand the opportunities to deploy carbon capture and sequestration technology on existing coal-fired power plants. The bill itself provides generous incentives for companies to engage in aggressive CCS technology in the way of a allowance bonus. And while we're very happy to see that provision in the bill, we feel that it does not adequately account for existing large generators who wish to retrofit their facilities to provide for partial CCS technology in the output of electricity. This amendment is designed simply to reward those electrical generators that do engage in CCS with bonus allowances for retrofitting existing facilities. We think that that's the most feasible and practical way to ensure rapid deployment, development of this new technology. And as far as we can see, it is perfectly in line with the goals and intent of this legislation to move in the direction of CCS technology and the utilization of coal-fired generation. Yield back.
Yields back his time. Is there discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Barton.
I have several questions. We're not automatically opposed to it, and we predisposed to be supportive, but we want to make sure we understand it. And I can ask this of the author or the council. Is the space amendment specific to one plant, or is it a generic amendment?
It is a generic amendment, not specific to one plant.
Not specific to one plant. And on page 2 of your amendment, in the retrofit applications, in the paragraph number 2, where you talk about a certain percentage of flue gas no longer applies to flue gas, but the entire product, we don't understand that. Can you explain that?
And I'll do my best to explain it, and then certainly I'm willing to defer to counsel. So the basis of this amendment is to stay within the framework of the original bill in terms of the amounts of electricity being generated that would be eligible for CCS bonus allowances. We've attempted to remain consistent with the intent of the bill. That language is designed specifically for those retrofitted plants that are not generating all of their power through CCS technology. There's still the 200 megawatt limitation that exists in the original bill. So if you've got a 1,000 megawatt plant that wants to retrofit and do 20% through CCS, this amendment permits that. It just factors in all those ingredients in a consistent fashion throughout the amendment. This legislation is, we have looked at this very carefully and certainly are mindful of concerns that members may have, but we see no problem. We think this will encourage the development, encourage deployment, and if this technology is going to be developed, it's going to be developed in this fashion by existing plants that can do it at scale. They're going to be sequestering this carbon on site. There are a lot of reasons as to why they cannot, and it's not practical to think that they would convert or retrofit the entire operation over to CCS technology, because of the integration between the CCS technology and the plant's operation. It's too risky. If there's a problem with the CCS, the whole plant shuts down. It requires massive amounts of real estate. It's essentially, if a plant were to go completely retrofitted to CCS, they would have to double the real estate. Many plants just don't have that option available. This legislation is designed to allow some of those plants to do it. We know of one plant down in West Virginia, the Mountaineer plant, that has made a significant investment in this process. We think it would be a shame to penalize companies that have been ahead of the curve.
You intend this would apply to any existing coal-powered plant in the country?
Any existing coal-fired plant in the country. It's very unlikely that any small manufacturer, relatively small manufacturer of electricity would, in fact, take advantage of this, because if you don't have scrubbers, it's impracticable to expect that CCS technology will be utilized, and only the larger plants have scrubbers. So really the threshold is at about 600 megawatts, so it's very unlikely that this would be something.
I don't see Mr. Boucher in the room, but he's the author of the CCS bill that I'm a sponsor of, and the language in our Republican alternative, if not identical, is almost identical to his language. Is Mr. Boucher comfortable with this? Do you know? Have you talked to him
I don't wish to speak for him, but I do have information that he is comfortable with this language and supportive of the amendment.
Okay. Gentlemen, we've been informed that Mr. Boucher has had a chance to review this amendment and is supportive of it. Okay.
Well, I have to admit, I'm a registered professional engineer, but I'm not an expert in CCS technology, and I'm certainly not an expert in retrofitting of existing coal-fired power plants of 1 gigawatt cumulative generating capacity. But
well, maybe Mr. Shimkus would like
our new friend from Ohio certainly seems to understand it, and he seemed like a sincere young man, so I'm going to say we'll accept it.
I thank the ranking member.
Any further discussion
Mr.
of this
Chairman,
amendment? Who seeks
Chairman,
recognition?
I just want to ask a question to the author.
Gentleman's recognized.
Is it safe to say that that what this amendment does is applying the same standards of new coal-fired plants to retrofits?
I'm not sure I understand the question. What it is doing, in a sense, it is. It's making those retrofits eligible for that bonus allowance that would be available for new plants that go completely CCS, which we anticipate in the future. These are for early retrofits that, again, are fundamentally important to the development of the technology over the next 4 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
We ready for the question? All those in favor of the space amendment will say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to.